Yeah, welcome. So today's practice, we've got people strolling in here. It's all about soothing our nervous system today. So if you were with me last week at all, we did a kind of that more gentle practice, and we're going to continue on that theme today. This time of year, my gosh, I think I talked about this. I definitely talked about this last week, but if you weren't here, I'll keep it brief. Yes, please soothe the nervous system. Right. So last week I was talking about how just feeling that overwhelm post Thanksgiving and all the activities and festivities, and as fun as it was, it's completely exhausting. And this week has not changed a whole lot. Just, getting Christmas lights, putting things up. I still haven't finished decorating. I've got, work, and work was busier this week, and, the things pile on and layer on. So we've got normal life and normal responsibilities, and then all these extra things added on top, not just responsibilities, but the fun things. And so, by the time we get to Christmas or New Year's Eve, but especially if those of you celebrating Christmas are leading up to that time of year, it's like, right by the time you get there. And my energy on Sunday was at like zero. Like we put the tree up and that wasn't till the end of the day. I couldn't move. I felt like my body had just been hit by some bricks. And it was just so busy on Saturday, like nonstop the whole day. And it's just like, So I don't know if I've talked about this book before, but there's this book called The Rushing Woman's Syndrome. I'll type it in the chat. And I know if you're not a woman, you might think it doesn't apply, but it might apply to you. The concepts apply regardless if you're a male or female. But this book is by Dr. Libby Weaver, and it's really about how, as women especially, we rush around and the effects it has on our hormones. And so I guess it is a little more for women, but the kind of things I took out of it, besides the direct hormonal impact, is the tools that you can use to help soothe your nervous system, which is all the things that a lot of us are already doing, or maybe we are doing in a small way, but we don't realize those are tools that can help us. And so this week I've been diving into polyvagal theory, and I am so not versed on it to try and describe what it is, but super high level as I understand it. The vagus nerve, if you're not familiar with that, it's a vagal nerve system that runs from like your brainstem. I think it's the hypothalamus. I could be wrong about that. But just above the brainstem, down around behind the ears, into the throat, down to the heart, down into your digestive tract, all the way into the intestines. And it is connected to our parasympathetic nervous system. And so we want to sort of soothe that nervous system when we're on these other there's a dorsal part of the vagal system as well that's responsible for a freeze response. So it's polyvagal, right? Sympathetic, parasympathetic, and within that there's vagal system. So that's sort of the very high arc of as I understand it. I'm going to learn more and hopefully be able to explain a little bit better. But the tools that are used to soothe that vagal nervous system, the ventral vagal system specifically, where we want to stay connected to others and we want to stay in that calm state, are the tools of, a lot of them of yoga, of tools of thousands of years. So I was like really excited to kind of hear some of these different theories and from both rushing woman syndrome and polyvagal theory, and like tools like our breath work, our basic calming yoga practices, chanting, humming. All those things are things that are going to soothe your nervous system and help basically stimulate the ventral vagal nerve. That's in essence. Let me read comments super quick and then we'll get started. Christine says, haven't even gotten our tree yet, trying to slow down and enjoy the season this year. Good for you, Christine. Hoorah, we can all learn a lesson from that. Trina gives it a thumbs up. Yes, the wandering nerve. So having said that, we are going to honor our nervous system today. If you would like a couple blocks, you can grab those. If you would like a strap, we're just going to do a hamstring stretch at the beginning, a belt, or we can just use hands. You may grab that as well. So it is time. Let's come to our mats. And we're going to start in constructive rest. And let me take a quick sip of my drink. So you're going to lie down on your back, let your feet come wide, knees are bent. And let the knees knock together. And I will meet you there in just a moment. And we're just going to start. This is one of my favorite postures. One, it keeps a neutral spine. And it's a great resting position between poses. I'm going to grab myself a belt today, or a strap today. And from constructive rest, let's just come into our breath. So the arms can be out wide if that feels nice. In fact, actually, let's all take arms out wide. So a lot of times I tell you to put them on your body, which also feels good. In our practice today, I want to add just a little bit of heart opening. There's not a lot included in this practice. So arms can come out to a T or cactus shape. And begin to feel into your breath. We'll take a few moments here before we do any movement. Allowing your face to just soften and relax. And we're sort of honoring any fatigue we might be feeling, whether it's physical or mental. Either way, it causes energetic fatigue, right? Sometimes we're pulled in a million directions and our brains are tired, but our bodies really haven't moved much. So we're going to sort of see if we can do a little movement and calm the brain today. And just notice any sounds around you. Sounds that are far, far away. Things you might not even notice at first. Regardless of what they are, even if it's a horn honking outside, just observing and becoming aware of those sounds. And the jaw relaxes a little bit. The tongue releases from the roof of your mouth. Releasing any grip or tension that's on your face, and just kind of allow the skin of your face to melt. Kind of picture it sliding off like Teflon, like coming off the bone. It's a sort of a strange visualization, but it's very relaxing and soothing. And now let yourself draw awareness to sounds closer to you. And do a little check-in with your physical body. Just observing any sensations. So we're just looking for observation today. No judgment, no changing anything. What do you notice? And now moving from the physical sensations to your energetic body. What do you notice in your energy today? And it might be actually connected to the physical self. Sometimes we notice stuck pockets of energy. Just observe that. And then doing a little check-in with your mental and emotional body today. Are there any emotions that have been coming up for you? And just notice. And then tuning into your intuitive body, not your brain. So just sort of let the mind relax and ask yourself, what do you need today? What do you need from your practice? What do you need to take with you after your practice? What do you need to soothe your nervous system? And just do a little check-in and let the body respond. Not the brain, not the mind, not the thinking thoughts. And usually it's kind of your first reaction. And we'll set that as our intention together, taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, letting the belly expand, the ribs expand, and the chest expand, deepening that stretch through your upper body. And then holding at the top for a moment. And exhale, release it out the mouth, sigh it out. Beautiful. And then we'll begin to take movements. If you have a strap, grab it. Otherwise, let the feet come parallel. And we'll just use your hands. Left foot stays on the mat. Extend the right foot up, and if you're using a strap or belt, loop it around the ball or the arch of your foot, wherever it feels comfortable there. And just take a nice, easy stretch. And if you don't have a strap, hands interlaced behind your right thigh. I like this strap or belt. Actually, when I'm upstairs and I do my practice in my pajamas, I take my bathrobe belt and use that. So if you have something like that nearby, you just grab it. And then you can let your arms go straight and let the weight of your foot deepen the stretch. So we have a little activation through the right foot, but we're not overexerting today. So today is going to be about slight activation, but not a lot of strengthening. Not a lot of standing poses. Let's take one more breath. And then exhale, bend through the right knee. Set your strap off to the left. Cross your right ankle just above the left knee. And then begin to draw your left knee in, thread the needle, right arm goes between the legs, and then I'm going to grab from the top of my left shin today. If you want to grab for the back of the left thigh instead, you may. And just notice which way feels nice today. A little flexion still in that right foot. Face is still nice and soft and relaxed. And so we're going to have these relaxed poses and then moments of stronger poses, and we're going to kind of sprinkle them throughout. If anything doesn't feel good for you today, or it feels like it's too much, see if you can modify. And if modification isn't calling to you, take something else and skip it entirely. Let's take one more breath here. And then keeping your legs just as they are, release the arms. Your right elbow is going to come around, or right forearm around by your right knee. Left hand to your right foot, or you can sort of cradle your right foot into your left elbow. And we're going to extend the left leg long and hover it. So here's one of those moments of turning on the core and lifting your head, neck, and shoulders. So I've got my right leg cradled. Again, you can have just the hand around the left or the foot if that doesn't work for you in your body. It just depends how open you are in your hips. And of course, we have body parts get in the way sometimes like boobs and bellies. So just work around it. Let's take one more breath, feeling the strength. Excellent. And then release back to that figure 4 position. And shift your hips slightly to the right. And let both legs fall over to the left. So I'm still in this figure 4. But my right foot is stamping down and arms to cactus shape. And maybe even extending the right arm up by the ear or a sort of a Y shape. And then gaze might come over the right shoulder. Just noticing what feels okay for you today. One more breath. Release the arm. Come back to center, shift your hips back to neutral, release the right foot to the mat, pause for a moment. Notice the difference between sides. And then we'll take it to the left side. If you're using a strap, loop it around the left foot, bend through the left knee, and then extend the left foot to the sky, or of course you can interlace hands behind the left thigh. Little flexion in the left foot. If you're taking this option with me, let the arms be straight. And let the leg just kind of go heavily into your strap. So we're not, often we pull right with our arms and we're trying to get really deep into the stretch. Today's more about moving in gradually, slowly, and a few breaths here. And I bring in this observational aspect of our practice today to really tune into your body and your breath. Those are the things that are going to help tap you back into that ventral vagal system, right? So you're looking to soothe the stressors, get out of the fight flight, get out of the freeze or dissociative responses. Because when we're in this parasympathetic nervous system, when we're in this ventral vagal nervous system, we can release tension and help our body release stress. And then we'll gently release the left foot. Set your strap off to the side and come to that figure 4 position. Left ankle over right thigh, and then hug your right knee in. Maybe you're interlacing hands behind the right shin or behind the right thigh. And a couple breaths here. When we're in this relaxed state, it gives us the ability to connect with others in a different way, right? When we're in fight flight, we are not connected to others. We are in our heads, we are running, we are frozen, whatever it is, and we're not able to connect. When we slow down a little, that brings us into a space of connection. All right, and then let's gently release the hands. Keep the legs just as they are. Left elbow around the left knee, and then hug in with your right hand around the right foot, and you can try and bring the left foot to your right elbow. So if you want to cradle, you can. And then extend the right leg long, head, neck, and shoulders lift. 3 breaths, little flexion in your right foot. Soften your face while you're here, though, and tune into your breath. And I know we're starting really slow today. So if your mind's going 1,000,000 miles an hour, observe it, recognize it, tune back into your breath, notice the sensations in your body. So good. And release that. Come back to that figure 4 shape. Shift your hips slightly to the left, and then both feet in that figure 4 shape are going to fall to the right. Let your arms come out to a T or cactus, or even left arm out at that Y position or up by the ear. And then maybe your gaze floats over to the left, and that really deepens the stretch through your side body. And then notice where your breath goes. And this side for me is much more, it's more palpable. I can feel the breath more in my body because it's tighter on this side. So allow your face to be soft and just breathe into those tight areas. Let's take 2 more breaths. So good, you guys. Excellent. And exhale, release, head back to center. Lift the knees, shift hips back to neutral. Place both feet on the mat and pause and observe. Notice if your breath is able to become a little deeper. Notice the body and the sensations in your body. So good. And then let's just roll over onto one side. Gently press up to a seat and come to a comfortable seat. We're going to do a little bit of breathing, and then we're going to bring this in at the end. So you can sit crisscross legs. You can grab a block, sit up on a block. You can sit supported heroes. And we're going to come into B breath. So actually, I'm going to go supported heroes today. Just notice what feels good and sounds good for you. I'm going to use my block between my feet. And you might need to adjust a little. If you've never done B breath or Brahmari pranayama, we're going to do a very simple version. There's a version with the full mudra over your face. We're going to use just the index fingers to close off the ears. And don't close them off yet so you can hear what I'm saying. But it'll press in that little piece of cartilage in front of the ear to close off the ears, all right? And we'll do that on the exhale. So we'll inhale together through the nose. And then as you exhale, you're going to hum through the mouth and make a single tone hum. So it'll sound like this. And you'll do a nice slow exhale. The jaw is slightly relaxed. The tongue is slightly relaxed from the roof of the mouth. And close your eyes and then close your ears. So we'll do this for about a minute. You can check back in on your inhale if you need to hear me a little bit. I won't talk too much. But let's do that together now. So nice deep breath in through the nose. And exhale, humming it out. And inhale. exhale, and take it at your pace. And you can experiment with the tone, if the hum's higher or lower. And keep going. We'll do about 6 breaths, I'd say. Two more. Let the breath flow naturally for a moment. And tune in. How do you feel? Can you feel your nervous system starting to calm? And then blink the eyes open. All right, so I know we're good ways into our practice and we haven't moved a whole lot, but let's come to our cat-cow. And I promise you we're gonna start moving. So just starting to open up the body with some gentle spinal movements, lowering the belly and let it hammock. Open through the chest. And then exhale, round through the spine. Press the mat away. And we'll keep moving with the breath. And as you inhale, lowering your belly, kind of pulling your chest forward as if you're pulling your hands back. So opening wide through the collarbones. And toes can be tucked if that feels good. Exhale, rounding through the spine and then pressing the mat away from you. Back of your heart lifts. Let's take another round or two. Inhale, opening through the chest, pulling yourself forward. And then exhale, rounding. Last round like that with your breath. And exhale, round. And coming back to center, let's come to a puppy pose. Walking your hands forward towards the corners of your mat. Hips stay over your knees. Lower your chest. Lower your forehead down. And if your forehead is floating, I'm going to invite you to grab a block and place that at the third eye center. And placing pressure here helps stimulate that vagus nerve. We can do simple things, just like adding this little bit of pressure in our practice to help us relax and calm the mind. And of course, these poses, like puppy and child's, they're very calming and grounding. And let's take one more breath. A little activation in the arms, so elbows are lifted. Crawl yourself back up. Knees come wide, big toes to touch, child's pose. We'll make it just slightly active, so walking the fingertips forward. A little bit of pressure in the ground, into the ground with hands. And if your head is not on anything, go ahead and place that block under your forehead. Feel your breath in your back body. Feel it in your hip creases, in your belly. Notice how the pose deepens with your exhale. Let's take one more breath. And envision a balloon expanding in your belly with each inhale and then deflating with the exhale. And so good. Look up. Come back to all fours. Let's make our way to down dog. If down dog is not happening for you today for any reason, take your puppy pose. And as you come to down dog, I'd like you to make this with little effort. So instead of pressing into your heels, let's bend the knees nice and deep. Send your hips high and get long in your spine. Get real grippy in your hands here and pressing into your index and thumb knuckles. Spin the eyes of your elbows forward, and if you need to look at me, you can. And so often we're rolling forward in our dog, like we think we have all this pressure on our shoulders, almost like a variation on plank. I want you to extend the arms, look back by your feet. That'll take some of the pressure off your shoulders. And if this is too much, drop down to the knees. And if you feel like you need more, maybe you pedal out a little bit. But I want it not a ton of efforting today. Let's do one more breath. Maybe a nice deep exhale out the mouth, sighing it out. Then we're going to make our way into pigeon pose. So let's lift the right leg, bend through your right knee, roll the hip open first. And then we're going to swing your right knee all the way around behind your right wrist. Right toes are flexed. Shimmy your left knee back. And then untuck your left toes. And if pigeon is not your jam today, I'd like you to take a seated figure four, kind of like we did on our back, but you're going to be upright. So seated figure four looks like this. And then you can walk yourself closer to get into the stretch, okay? If you're in pigeon, we're not going to stay upright, so let's lower down. You've got your blocks here, perhaps. You can use a block under your forehead or under your forearms if that feels better. But I would suggest supporting your head. If you don't have a block and your forehead doesn't come down to the ground, stack your fists and you can prop your forehead up that way or the hands like that. All right, so find your version of pigeon today. We'll be here for a few breaths. So all these forward folds, grounding poses are really great for soothing your nervous system. And also when I kind of gave that cue of expanding your belly like a balloon, our vagal nerve goes all the way down into our digestive tract. And that really helps to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system with those deep belly breaths. And it stimulates the digestive system. So if you have any struggles with your digestion, and especially moving things, super helpful. Let's do one more breath. So good. Come on up, lift your head, move your block out of the way. Press on up onto your hands, tuck your back toes, and let's come back to down dog. Bend the knees once again, have your spine lengthen. And if you want to experiment now with pedaling, we're less about the hamstrings today. Getting into the hips a little. Let's take pigeon on the left side. Lift your left leg high. Bend through your left knee. Stack left hip on top of right. So you're getting a deep side body stretch. And then we're going to swing that left knee all the way around behind the left wrist, or just to the outside of the left wrist. And then tuck your right toes. Shimmy your right knee back. Untuck the toes, and then we'll lower down onto forearms. If it feels good in your body to come all the way down, extending arms out, by all means, take your version of pigeon today. If you want to support your head with a block, go ahead and grab it. We've got about 5 breaths. So tuning back into that deep belly breathing. And even inviting in a light ujjayi breath. Because the vagal nerve runs through the throat, the ujjayi breath helps to stimulate that. And it also creates warming in the body. So if it's cold where you live, you might want a little bit of warmth today. And see if you can relax your face and feel the tension release from your jaw again. Tongue is relaxed. Do one more breath. Noticing the sensations as you hold the stretch. And gently lift your gaze, move your block out of the way. Come on up to hands. Tuck the back toes, down dog. Bend the knees, send the hips high. All right, we're going to get into another deep hip opener here. Step your right foot outside your right hand. We're going to come into a wide lizard lunge today. So we're not hugging, normally I'm telling you to hug your right knee in towards the shoulder. Let your right foot even maybe come off the mat, right toes come out, and then lower your back knee down. And this is a spot for blocks for me, because I'm going to suggest, if you like, to come down onto your elbows. Go for it. I like the blocks here. And again, we're not hugging that right knee in like normal. We're kind of letting it go out to the side a little bit. It's a slightly different stretch. If you don't have blocks, place your left forearm on the mat, and you can come a little wide with the left forearm and just sort of lean onto that left forearm a little bit so you don't have to come all the way down. And if you are all the way down and you want to stack fists and support the forehead, by all means, or use your block to support your forehead. And we'll just be here for another breath or so. Good. Move your blocks out of the way. Come back up onto your hands. And it's up to you if you want to take a down dog between sides. You may. You can come to tabletop as well, and we'll just transition for a moment. Feeling into the right hip, noticing what you're experiencing on that side. And then we'll take it to the opposite side. Left foot comes to the outside of your left hand. Let your left foot come off the mat. Toes are wide, and then lower your right knee down. Lizard lunge. And if you'd like, you can place the right forearm on the mat. Place both forearms on the mat, or use your blocks here. And just hang out for about 3 breaths. Just notice what you're experiencing in your body, in your mind. Are you so used to doing this, slowing down like this is like driving you crazy? And that's part of rushing woman syndrome. The theory is like we are constantly rushing. And I think culturally that is true. That is everybody. We are ingrained that we have to be doing, and if we're not doing, we're like going stir crazy, right? And then we're inundated with social media and television and advertising, and so much is coming at us all the time, and our nervous system is constantly taking that in. Go ahead and come up to your hands. It's no wonder that we're overtaxed, right? We have no break. Go ahead and come back to tabletop. Just a moment with a closed-knee child's pose, just to feel into your hips. And then come on up, and we're going to come to a standing wide leg forward fold. So you can get there from your table. Sorry, get my hair out of the way. Stepping 1 foot forward, spinning to the long edge of your mat. Let your feet come parallel. If you'd like a block or have a block, I'm going to invite one in here today. I'm going to place it on my tallest height. Feet are parallel, lengthen through your spine. Hands start by coming under your shoulders. And then maybe your block comes under your head. And this is a little tricky for me, but walking the hands back, the weight might be in your heels. Send it slightly forward towards the balls of your feet. And let your head relax down. And if you have the ability and you're able to place your head on the mat, whew, that's a little much for me today, by all means do, or adjust the block height. And you can even have a little bend in your knees here. And if it's bothering your ankles at all, really press into the center of the ball of your foot. Another breath or so. Forward folds are my favorite way to come back into myself. Get out of my head, get into my body. Let's do a nice exhale out the mouth. Releasing tension, relaxing. And then go ahead and walk your hands back up. Move your block out of the way. And then walk your hands forward like you're taking a really wide leg down dog. Gaze comes back towards your feet. Lengthen your spine nice and long. And if at any point in your practice you want to add in that bee breath, it might feel really good. just a simple hum on the exhale. You can do that any time, but it's really nice practice in the morning or before bed to just calm things down. Go ahead and crawl yourself back up. We're just doing one standing pose today. You're going to let your right toes spin to the top of your mat. We're going to come into triangle pose. Left toes are slightly angled in, and you might need to adjust your stance, maybe shorten it a little. If you'd like a block, place it to the outside of your shin or foot. And then let's just start with your left hand on your hip. So right toes are forward, right hand is pressing down onto your shin or your block. And then just take a moment here to spin the chest open. And then releasing that left hand, maybe it even comes behind the head. And that might not feel so good, so you can extend it up. I have left shoulder issues, so this is a little tricky for me. But sort of using the head to press into the hand into the head. Really deep opening through your side body. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss any comments, so hold for another breath or so. Oh, good. I always want to make sure there's never any urgent alerts like, hey, nothing's working. And then let's release that down. And then we're just going to spin everything to the back of your mat. Take your block with you if you have a block. Make sure your heels are aligned as you come around to the back. And take triangle to the other side. Left hand to your block or your shin, right hand to your hip. And just begin to spin your chest open. And you know, you're sending your hips back. So if you feel like everything's sort of crammed in there and it's not working for you, think about sending kind of your butt back, if that's a better way to put it. And then spin the chest open. And you can stay right here with your hand on your hip, or maybe take your right hand behind your head. Soften your face and jaw. Two more breaths. This is the hardest pose we're doing today, you guys. No strong warriors today. We have enough strengthening, most of us, that come to yoga regularly, especially if you're an Ashtanga yoga person or a Vinyasa person, especially a Vinyasa. I love it, and some days I don't like it at all. Okay, go ahead and release that. Spin around to the top of your mat. Step back to dog. And as great as those practices can be, strengthening, moving, right? Getting a good sweat on, we need this balance. So when we're overstimulated in life, the last thing we need is to be overstimulated in our yoga practice. And that's really hard for some of us because we feel like we need to be doing more. Let's take one more nice deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Come back to tabletop. And then release, sitting back onto your heels, and just pause there for a moment. Relax the shoulders down, soften your face. And if sitting on your heels doesn't work, grab a couple blocks. Prop yourself up. I just want you to take these moments to feel into your body. Notice what you're experiencing. Where can you feel the energy moving now? So good. And blink the eyes open. We're going to come to a wide leg forward fold. So Upavishta Konasana, we'll start here. And once we're here, I'd like you to take your right knee, bend it, and bring your right heel towards the groin. If you'd like your block for a little support, you may, or I'll show you with hands. But we're just going to take a gentle forward fold. And you might be nowhere near getting your head on this block, okay? So if you feel like you're hunching over, this feels super uncomfortable, just forget it and hang out here, okay? But let's start with a long spine, and then we'll round a little bit. So we want to keep the length of your spine. Your left sits bone's probably going to lift up a little bit. That's fine. Let your head soften and relax. And you can stack fists or use your block to support your head. And experiment with what feels better for you. If it's too much straining, back off. one more breath on this side. Good. Come on up. We're going to switch it out. Extend the right leg out. Bend through the left knee, left heel towards the groin. Starting with a long, tall spine, we'll take a forward fold, lowering the forearms down if that's comfortable. Let your right sits bone lift a little bit. Don't worry about holding that down. And then you can, once again, stack your fists, use your block, place it under your forehead. Now, if you're at your desk or at work and you're feeling stress and strain, real simple things that we can do. You can do the bee breath, although that might be a little difficult if there's people around. You can do 4, 7, 8 breath, which if you've never done that, that's inhaling for 4, holding for 7, slow exhale out the nose for 8. And that whole breath work is through the nose. I love a good cleansing breath where you take a nice deep inhale and then a long, slow exhale out the mouth. You can rub your forehead. You can rub your neck a little bit. In fact, those are sort of things we do a lot, right? When we're feeling stress, we rub our forehead. So we're automatically doing things to soothe our nervous system and we don't even know it. So good. Come on up. On your next inhale, sit your block off to the side. And let's make our way into a simple twist. You can do Ardha Matsyendrasana, which my left knee's bent, so I'm going to keep it there. I'm going to stamp my right foot in front of it. And this time, both sits bones are coming to the ground. Right hand is going to come behind, lengthen, and let the hand come behind as much as you need. So sometimes we're up here and we're trying to twist everything around, it can walk back a little bit, okay? And then you can either hook the left elbow to the outside of the right knee or just hug the right knee in. But start with the lengthening before you twist. So think about getting really long in your spine. Stay here for your inhale. And exhale, then begin to twist. And again, as we kind of twist everything around this midline, that helps us to release tension and stress in our organs. And I always like to think of my organs as a big, like sponges, and I'm wringing them out. And so when I come back out, I've released some stuff, and now they're ready to absorb fresh, new, good energy, right? One more breath. Exhale, release, do a little counter twist. That just feels so good. And then we'll switch legs. So right knee bends onto the ground. Stamp your left foot over top, both feet, or sits bones down. Right foot's a little flexed. And then left hand behind. Walk it as far back as you need so you can kind of get everything around the midline. And then you can either hug the left knee or hook your right elbow outside your left knee. And one side might feel vastly different. You might need to take a different variation like I do. And then once again, lengthening the spine as you inhale. Exhale, twist in a little bit. 2 breaths. Just relaxing the face. Jaw is soft, tongue is relaxed. Tension release from the forehead. So good. Exhale, release that. Come to the other side, little counter twist. And then we're going to do one pose with the block if you have it for bridge. If not, we're going to take one variation of bridge together, just like a normal bridge. If you have a block or blocks, you can keep those for restorative, or I'll give you an alternative, okay? So setting up for a regular bridge pose here, plant your feet onto the ground. Begin to roll the shoulders under. And before we lift, I want you to press your low back into the ground. We're going to come up one vertebra at a time. So press the low back and then slowly, slowly roll up. Interlace the hands underneath or grab for the rails, the sides of your mat. Roll your shoulders under. Let's take 3 breaths in our traditional bridge pose. Lifting the heart, turning on your quads. So we have a few more heart openers in here than I realized. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, release the hands. Let's slowly, slowly roll down one vertebra at a time. And I want you to take your time, feeling each vertebra come to the mat. All the way down to the low back. Press your low back for a moment and then relax the low back. Little arch in your spine, anterior tilt of your pelvis. And relax. And then for our final pose before Shavasana, you can either grab your 2 blocks and come up into a restorative bridge, placing some support under your sacrum, just below your low back. Or if you don't have blocks, you could take a reclined bound angle, soles of the feet together. Let your arms come out to cactus in this version today. So we'll open the whole front of the body, whichever version you're in. It's a beautiful opening pose. I love the supported bridge for myself today. And this pause, if you're in the supported bridge, before doing any leg extension or arm extension. I love to feel how gravity does its work as I just come into this initial pose. And I really like the low level, so I can extend my legs out comfortably. But it's your practice. If you want to go mid-level, go for it. Let your breath once again come to your belly and notice how that feels for you. And then maybe you begin to walk your feet away if you're in bridge. Recline bound angle, stay just as you are. You can even extend the legs fully, or extend the arms up overhead and rest on the ground behind you in this full body extension. And we'll be here 3 more breaths, whatever pose you're in. Let your face be soft, jaw relaxed, tongue released away from the roof of your mouth, And then gently release the arms. If they're extended, bend through the knees. Pause for a moment. If you're in bridge, lift the hips. Slide your blocks out of the way. Once again, nice slow roll down, articulating the spine. And then we're actually going to make our way into seated today for breath work. And if you really don't want to do the breath work and you want to come to Shavasana, go for it. If you are coming to a seated position, grab a cushion or something to set yourself up comfortably. And we're going to come back to our B breath. So again, that's inhaling through the nose, closing off the ears. Humming. If you want to stay in Shavasana and you want to do 4, 7, 8 breath, that is an alternative for you, okay? So we'll do another minute here to close our practice before our shorter meditation today. So nice deep inhale through the nose. Plug the ears with the index fingers and hum. We're going to do 6 rounds of whatever breath you're doing. Inhale. And as you finish, let the breath flow naturally. If you're doing 4, 7, 8, continue till you're done with your 6 rounds. And take a moment to tune into your body once again, any physical sensations in your body. Does it feel different than when you started your practice? And noticing your energetic body once again. Are there still any areas of stuck or dull energy, and can you breathe into that? Noticing your mental and emotional body, how is it feeling now, and observing it. Coming back to your intuitive body. What do you need to take with you today? What do you need for yourself today? Listening to your body for the answer. And finally, tuning into your bliss body, your spiritual self. You may call that higher self, source energy. Perhaps you would like to call in angels and guides. Perhaps it's asking for help or handing something over that is no longer serving you and handing it to them to help you release, help you work through. No matter your beliefs, it's irrelevant. We all have this higher self, this intuitive self. Hand it over to your higher self. Ask for guidance. Hand it over to your guides, your angels. Ask for ancestral help. Whatever's speaking to you in this very moment. And begin to feel your breath move in and out of your heart center. And as you tune into your heart center, tune into your breath. If there's a mantra that's speaking to you, an affirmation, bring that in now. One I've been working with this week is Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. It means I am the universe. Aham Brahmasmi. And taking from a Kyle Gray meditation, I think of this all the time, repeating to yourself that I am the light. I am the light. And handing this, tuning into this universal energy, higher self, spirits, guides, whatever's calling to you. And saying, you are the light. I am the light. You are the light. And expanding this out one step further to our connection with each other, connection to this world, to all things in this world and universe. You are the light. I am the light. You are the light. And feeling into this beautiful energy, this heartfelt energy, saying, we are the light. We are the light. Allowing yourself to remain in this space of connection. We are the light. Feeling your energy radiating out from your body, from your heart space in all directions. What color is your light today, and what does that look like for you? And feeling that, seeing it, allowing it to expand further and further beyond your physical self. We are the light. And our energies are all connected. We are all connected in this universe. Not just this world, beyond this world, even beyond this universe, beyond this dimension. We are all connected. We are all one. And allowing yourself to remain here for the next few moments. And I'll bring you back shortly with the sound of the chime. Just feeling into this beautiful, expansive space of connection, of love, of gratitude. Feeling grateful for this moment, grateful for your body, grateful for this beautiful energy that we've all created together today. And now beginning to deepen your awareness, deepen your breath once again, feeling the breath expand into your belly. Bringing energy back into your body. And if you're in your Shavasana, gently begin to make small movements, and then larger movements, gradually bending through the knees and making your way onto one side. We'll all meet in a seat where we will close our practice together today. Drawing hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra. Bowing chin slightly towards the hands. Let's close with a single sound of Om. Exhaling the breath completely. Nice deep inhale through the nose. Sending love and gratitude for yourself for showing up for you today. Sending that love and gratitude to all of those practicing around the world together today. And sending your love and gratitude to all beings and all creatures in this universe. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all of you be happy and may all of you live freely. Thank you so much for your practice and your presence today. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to come on up so I can read your comments. Oh, Jean, you're very welcome. Thank you, Alma, for your donation today. Oh, gosh, Jackie, I'm glad that this was perfect for you today and most days. Love it. Oh, Zeta, you're most welcome. Trina, you're most welcome. Have a lovely weekend as well. And yeah, thank you, Hope, for your donation. And yeah, if you would like to offer an energy exchange today in the form of a donation, those are always very much appreciated. You can either donate live here or donate directly onto my page. If you have an Apple device, and donate on my page, they will not take the extra fee. But certainly, by all means, all donations are welcome. You can follow me on Insight Timer. You can go to my bio and check out my link tree and all the things. My website is up and running. I have two right now. getting there with getting down to 1. I have to move some things over. And thank you for your donation. And Christine, you're most welcome. Thanks, Christine. Yeah. So I am a spiritual lifestyle and health coach, if you want to know a little bit more about me, as well as obviously a yoga teacher, Reiki master, artist, lots of things. But yeah, I'm really, really focusing on the coaching and kind of integrating all these modalities into coaching. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about me, please check out my link tree, check out my bio, check out my podcast. The new episode is recorded. It is not released yet. That will be out sometime next week. So be on the lookout for that. It's Lit Lotus Podcast and litlotus.me. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that. That's my webpage, but you can find it on my link tree in my bio. Jackie says, thank you, Melinda. Lovely. As always, I'll donate at the close. Thank you so much, Jackie. Daphne, thank you. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed the practice. Yes, nice and gentle today. And thank you for everybody that's here. And it's so auspicious that there's 108 people that have either here or have been here today. So that's really super cool. Christine, oming is great for vagal toning. Yes, Christine, you are absolutely correct. So any of those sounds like humming, chanting sounds like om, really good for vagal tone. So thank you for that extra little nugget of information. I appreciate that. And as you move through your weekend, I will leave you with a short thought. Oh, that's the right word. I'm so relaxed now. The words aren't even flowing to me. But just see if you can find little pockets of space for yourself when you get busy. Take a 5-minute break. Take a little rest. Even if you're at your work today and you need to duck into the bathroom for a few breaths, come back to your 4-7-8 breath or some type of cleansing breath. And yeah, just give yourself a little bit of space and love. And don't be afraid to clear your calendar, cancel meetings, cancel appointments. Take care of yourself. So I'm sending you guys so much love and light today. Yes, Christine as well. Have a beautiful weekend. I'm going to sign off, but thank you all so much for coming. I so appreciate you all. Feel free to message me on Insight Timer or through my webpage if you have any questions. And I will be here next Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and I hope to see you again. Yep, see you next week. Take care, you guys.